Alright, boom. So today we got on an old Michael Jordan made the truth look like a lot. And we've been doing our homework on Michael Jordan lately. And then defense, highlights, even some of his accolades. I'm not gonna lie, I don't think he's better than LeBron James, bro. But offense, defense, bro, he seems good. But this is an old Michael Jordan versus a prime The Truth, bro. Shaq gave him that name, bro. I do know my homework on that. So that being said, let's just get straight into the video.
Not too long ago, I made a video about how old MJ gave a young Vince Carter fits. So now,
Vince Carter too? Okay, was MJ still good that far into his career? Even in I thought he retired twice by then.
About what happened literally just a month prior to that. Here's PaulPierce describing the very first time he met Michael while he was still with the Jayhawks.
That was my first time meeting Mike. After that year, I was planning on going to the NBA, and I was like looking at Mike, kind of sizing him up, and I was like, okay, I'm a little bit taller than Mike now. You know, I can match up with him. You know, I'm saying that stuff to my head because I know I never.
You felt it already?
I had said it to him as a college kid.
Hey, P, you look.
Oh, he didn't say it out loud though in college.
And not saying nothing out, and not speaking out loud.
Oh no, I wasn't gonna say nothing to Mike.
Pierce said that he wouldn't have dared to talk trash to Jordan while he was still in college. But 3 years into the NBA version of Pierce had no problem trash talking Jordan at all. Jordan just so happened to retire for the second time just as Pierce was drafted into the NBA. But while Jordan was away from the game temporarily, Pierce quickly established himself as one of the top young guys in the league. And it looked like Jordan noticed because Antoine Walker, who would play against MJ in pickup games during the summer, said this, quote, "Jordan talked about it all summer that he wants to play against Paul. And he would finally get his wish when he returned to the NBA as a Washington."
MJ was literally waiting to play against him. He was hunting him, bro. Even when he wasn't on the court, he was in the. He's like, when I get back, I'm playing Paul.
Wizard. Now, technically, their first matchup took place in the preseason, but it was still a good one. They were trash talking each other all game, as Pierce had this to say afterwards: "I've been waiting for this day." Once again, even though that was a preseason game, Jordan still took it personal. I mean, you can just tell by listening to the post-game press conference.
He's a young kid, and actually looking to come at me hard. But he's got to realize I'm coming at him too. So November 7th should be a good game.
It wasn't really surprising that Jordan was looking forward to their first official meeting in the regular season, considering the trash talk that occurred in that preseason game. But what's scary is MJ knew the exact date it was on.
November 7th should be a good game.
That probably made PaulPierce excited but also nervous at the same time, knowing that Michael had already circled that day on his calendar, which probably made him regret all that smack he was talking. But there was no going back. MJ was coming for him. As you just heard MJ say, November 7th, 2001 would be the day he and Pierce would first meet in the regular season, which was only the 5th game into the season for both of them, so MJ didn't have to wait very long to face him again. Now remember, it was also just the 5th game into his first comeback in 1995, where he dropped 55 points on the New York Knicks, so people were curious to see if history would repeat itself, with Jordan having a similar performance this time around as well, even if he was much older. The much anticipated matchup was all set. All that was left for the fans to do was enjoy the show.
Anderson penetrates but cannot convert. The officials tonight, Ronnie Nunn, Nolan Fine, and Tony Brothers. Here is Michael Jordan hitting his first shot of the game. The wrath of guarding him. They're combined 1 of 9 from the field is Michael Jordan hitting his second.
I'm not gonna lie, I was just using Jordan in 2K last night. I was cooking. We was playing Jordan versus Kobe, and I was using Jordan. We switched around. I did win the game. He is nice. Oh, Jordan's OP in 2K though. Shit fake. He gets every steal.
And Michael Jordan with a little vintage play from the past. Now he's undersized as a 2 guard. He's a tough guy who can defend. Jordan fouled by Pierce and makes the basket. So Michael Jordan now with 14 points.
At the defensive.
Was Michael Jordan still a great defender at this age? Like, clearly, I'm not gonna lie, he looks like he can still score, so he's doing this thing. But Do you think his defense is still as good, or did he have like less stamina? He wasn't as fast, didn't have a quick step. His reaction with his hands wasn't as fast. Cause I'm not gonna lie, MJ could steal. He had a lot of steal highlights, but you think he was still a good defender when he was in his late 30s?
Were you guys pleased in the first half?
Well, Michael's making some tough shots, but we just got to continue to not to let the Chris Williams, Tyronn Lue, the Richard Hamiltons get off. We can live with Michael scoring 30 as long as we can shut down the other guys.
He was still a great
Walker
scorer.
said
Oh my
that
God.
they can live with Jordan scoring 30. Well, it's not like they had much of a choice.
He didn't have a choice, bro. Let's be
He was
honest.
off
You
to a
can't
hot
stop
start
it.
This year. Whitney going inside. Jordan with a turnaround. Six on the shot clock for the Wizards. The lead is 10. Jordan guarded by Pierce. Jordan in the lane, hitting the jumper. 22. Now you remember Pierce and Jordan
I ain't
were
gonna
out
lie.
in the preseason, and they were jawing at each other.
Bro, that's the type of move I'd want to add to my bag, like, bro. Jordan just like takes a step in and he just rises over everybody.
And at the end of that game, Michael Jordan says, "I've already circled November 7th when we'll play again." This is score for the Wizards tonight. Pierce defending Jordan. Fall away, he hits. 29 for Jordan. Pierce 56 for 36. Jordan over Pierce. He's got it. Michael Jordan has equaled his season's high. 31 with a line drive jumper to tie the game.
Jordan was making a young Paul Pierce look silly like it was nothing. Age was clearly just a number for him this night. Now, Jordan didn't really guard Pierce until the fourth quarter, but when he did, he totally shut him down.
Tonight, 5 in the first half off the bench. Ball knocked away. His last 7, Doug Collins saying he has to be emotionally involved to play well. He's answered that question now. Here is Pierce driving in. Here's 1 for 6 here in the second half, getting another chance, but Jordan's defending. Step back by Pierce, now 1 for 7. Let's get back to power basketball with Pierce and Walker inside. And here is Pierce, and Jordan is all over him. This is a good duel.
Oh my God, he's getting locked up.
Put away, Jordan gets the steal. Here is Lue, lays it in, and ties the score again. On the perimeter, guarded by
not
Popeye
looking good for
Jones,
Paul
and
Pierce.
Pierce defended by Jordan. Here is Pierce and Jordan with 7 on the shot clock, and traveling called. So Jordan, I'll tell you, that's where...
After Jordan forces Pierce into a traveling violation, you can see Jordan jawing with Pierce on their way back down the court. Now listen to this. Paul Pierce only put up 2 points on 1 for 6 field goals in the fourth quarter.
Oh my God. I'm not gonna lie, this is ridiculous, bro.
0
MJ
points in the last 10 minutes of the
oh, the
game,
MJ's
and
doing
just
this?
14 points for the entire game, while Jordan put up a grand total of 32 points. You could say that maybe Pierce was just having an off night. Well, all those missed shot attempts he put up in the fourth quarter all came against Jordan, so that had to have been more than just a coincidence. Okay, the Celtics did end up winning the game, but that's only because Antoine Walker couldn't be stopped. But one thing is for sure, Paul Pierce was definitely stopped that night. Sure, Pierce did come up big with this block he had on Jordan late in the game, but that was pretty much his only highlight in the fourth quarter. Yeah, Pierce's team may have won the war, but he certainly lost the individual battle between he and Jordan. He was barely keeping up with the 38-year-old. So imagine what would have happened if these two faced each other in MJ's prime. That's...
I don't even want to imagine, but I don't think Paul Pierce would be able to do anything. He wasn't able to do anything to a 38-year-old MJ. Prime Michael Jordan?
It's just scary to think about. It's crazy that an old Michael Jordan shut down 2 star players in the span of just a month. That's highly impressive.
Happened in the same
Real
month?
quickly, MJ did get his revenge on Pierce with a late game block of his own during his last game in Boston, and got the victory with it as well this time. You could look at this in one of 2 ways. Either this is proof that MJ is undoubtedly the GOAT just by the way he was able to torch a young Paul Pierce, or the fact that Pierce was young and wasn't quite seasoned yet. So maybe we shouldn't make a big deal about this after all.
I don't know if MJ to go, but Pierce being young, is that a good excuse? Like, he just didn't have like the mentality when he came against someone like MJ. He just like folded under the pressure, even though he thought he was up to the occasion. He just didn't rise up to the occasion.
I'm curious to know what you think down in the comments below, and please feel free to like and subscribe. Thanks for watching.
I'm not gonna lie, Paul Pierce getting cooked by MJ, who was 38, is kind of ridiculous. But it's Michael Jordan, bro. At the end of the day, he was still cooking my defense. I thought his defense would be a bit slower, but he seemed to have his hands that were moving, his feet. He was staying in front of Paul Pierce, poked the ball out. You feel me? He didn't score it on the other end, but it's okay, bro. I'm not going to lie. With that being said, I'm catching on the next one.